Sup y'all, welcome to channel Zarovsky Crystal, welcoming y'all back. If y'all want the full introduction, aka the first part, I'll link it below. If not, a brief refresher. First solo exhibition. This is part of the documentation. Each painting's footage is in parts cause technical difficulties. Let's go. Part 1 had the technical aspect down, both for the series and the painting Dissolve itself. Here's the part where I talk about what inspired it. Trigger warning for those going through the grieving process of, or if you don't want hear about losing somebody to illness. I won't mind or know if you muted the video or stopped watching altogether. We were very close to our grandaunt, my paternal grandmother's sister. Of their siblings, this grandaunt was the youngest of them, not even 70 yet, still very lucid, functioning like any normal adult, at least cognitively. But with every visit, she got thinner and thinner and thinner, until she wasted away in a hospital bed at St. Luke's. Liver cancer, among other complications, the rare kind, only 30 plus of reported cases worldwide, supposedly. She had a lovely funeral last August, my first time to be a bantay overnight, and it had to be hers. At least it was hers, someone I legitimately loved and cared about instead of some distant relative that might as well have been a stranger. Let me explain. In the Philippines, we have a wake that can last from days to a week. Locations vary depending on locale and social status, from funerary homes to the side of the road. At night, there should at least always be at least one bantay or guardian. Various traditional reasons, beliefs, grave robbers, corpse eaters, and other ungodly entities. Nowadays, most good funeral parlors have good enough security or lockable chapels when you're renting. But some of our ancestors' belief systems kinda included nasty beings that like eating cadaver bits, so there's that, despite modern bodies being embalmed. And there's the concept of sundo or fetch, to fetch, but that actually happens before the person dies. But seeing there's this belief that souls don't go to heaven till the 40th day could be plausible in concept. Sundo is where supposedly the previously dearly deceased and or one's ancestors fetch the freshly dead or dying to take with them to heaven. But demons and evil spirits are capable of disguise and deception, capable of dragging souls to hell. So there's that. My granddad had a lovely wake, white flowers everywhere. First night I spent with my uncle, the younger of her two sons, and his best friend. We too had a bantay of our own. His name was Kamimon. He is a stuffed wolf, beanie baby size. The three of us, alone with my grand aunt in her white casket, in a room full of chips, sweets, nuts, pastry, sandwiches, and a large cooler of drinks, many of which were Coke. I couldn't stop shaking though, despite wearing 2 layers of hoodies. It was so frigid. Maybe, just maybe, because the room had 2 air conditioners set to the max. I had no blanket. Speaking of her two sons, my uncles, the eldest just got married last December 2017. At this time, my aunt was pregnant, due for December 2018, at the time of the funeral, or the wake rather. Grand aunt was diagnosed maybe 2 or a month before passing in August. Before her death, I prayed and prayed that she'd at least see her first grandson before she'd go. I don't know if it was myself talking to myself, but something told me to pray the rosary every night for 2 weeks straight. I did. I pled and I begged, but the rest is history. Maybe better that way so she didn't have to suffer for half a year, because the first time I saw her bedridden, she looked like a fish out of water. Gasping for air, unblinking, barely responsive, close to being a vegetable yet not near enough. Not her jolly plump self anymore, but this thinned, shriveled husk, yellowed from jaundice. It broke all of our hearts, and my dad, her nephew, didn't like seeing her this way. He'd be close to tears. Looking back now, my brother's logic would ring true in my head. Stalling till December, it's unreasonable and painful. Even if she'd be alive for my cousin's birth, what would be the point? She's catatonic. Nevertheless, anger buried itself in my heart, disdain for fate, for cancer, because of all the people death could have taken. Why death have to take her? It was only after we buried her did I learn my granduncle harbored the same flavor of spite for this incurable, accursed sickness. Now every other cancer story reminds me of her. At least some of those stories are successes. This is not me processing my pain. I've long gotten over it, over her death and anybody else's. This is me being an artist, bearing my guts to the world, making art from the events of my life, and selling the end results, no different from pop stars singing about their breakups, authors penning their memoirs, YouTubers filming their faux pas, whether intentional or not. It's a living, the only way I know how. I'll end it here for now. Y'all know where to find me. Zarobsky Krista, Love Channel Zarobsky saying ciao for now. Over and out.